Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read for you today, and it's another beauty. It is April 19, 2019. The 19 is all about the sun and the masculine energy. The 19 is a 1, which is of that independence, that drive, that selfishness, as opposed to the 9 of the selflessness. And mind you, selfishness is a good thing, because you have to love yourself first. The day adds up to 35-8, which is the Wounded Warrior. 35, it's also representative of Mary Magdalene, and it's an 8 of inner strength, power, and manifestation. So whereas 4 is more manifesting survival, 8 is manifesting your dreams. So as we get into the read today, with the Sun and the 9 of Wands, the Wounded Warrior, which is also very much about victim mentality, how is that related to the masculine energy of the sun and exposing everything and too much light, and how does that work in all of this? So it was also interesting too, the video that I posted yesterday ended up posting at 1 hour 38 minutes and 44 seconds, and 38 is my soul number and 44 is my life lesson number. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's the Queen of Cups and the 4 of Cups, which is the mastering of the 44. The weight of the world upon your shoulders, the not settling, the grounding and integrating. Okay, so then as I started the read this morning at 9:30, and of course 30 is the 4 of Wands, the union energy, I was getting don't let the sun go down on me. And the sun's been kind of going in and out all day. The energy is good. Definitely still getting a little nervousness as I started the read, but not bad. The energies are pretty even keeled today. It's just kind of in and out, and I think that's very representative of the energies today, with the sun going behind the clouds and then coming out again. Nothing extreme, but it's okay. And we're past the full moon now, because that was early this morning. So now we're on the waning side of the moon, or the dark side of the moon. Okay, at 9:43, after don't let the sun go down on me, I started getting we are the world, we are the children, because it's all about being your inner child today. And of course with Easter and the bunnies and Easter egg hunts and all that kind of stuff, that energy is very much coming up, and it was coming up under 43, which is the 3 of Cups of joy and coming together, and that's very much a union energy. Then at 9:46, which is the children in the garden, the 6 of Cups, came in. Come with me, my love, okay, to the sea of love. I want to tell you just how much I love you. And this was as I was looking at the underlying energy here of the 10 of orbs or swords. Underneath that, the Page of Pentacles, which in this deck is very much about discovering your psychic abilities. And then underneath that, which I don't usually go into the third card under, but I did today because it was the 6 of Cups, and I was guided to bring that in too. So as I was looking at that 6 of Cups, the children, and I love that card in this deck, it's beautiful. That's when the Come With Me, My Love song came up. And also the wording that was coming up on the bottom of those 3 cards was C, C, C. So S-I for yes in Italian, or if in French. C, to see something, and then the sea of love was coming up. So C, C, C. Okay, Christ consciousness and all that. So then at 9:58, and 58 is the 4 of swords, which is that resting, praying, being in silence, meditating, that kind of energy was coming up. Then I was getting a line from my song, from Sophia, of evergreen but never seen, which was all about Jesus always being seen, but not the feminine. Because it's Sophia saying, you know, she's evergreen but never seen. Always, her heart is always expanding as he returns her love, but she's never seen. She's like a secret. So then as I was placing down some of the clarifiers on the crowning card, it was 10 o'clock, and 10 is that Wheel of Fortune, the turn for the better, your destiny, that high vibration, and the 0, 0 is just more high vibration because that's source energy. It was giving very much the energy that the truth in the masculine's head is very clouded, okay? So this masculine read was at 10:04. So 10:04, message received. It was from 4 to 5. I was still arranging the cards. And then the major arcana here from the Sirian Starseed deck were Ascension, which is in the traditional deck, the World. Reflection, which is the Hermit. Chariot's the Chariot. Strength is the Strength. And then the card after the read that I always use was Alchemy, which is usually the Temperance card. There were 2 swords, 3 cups, 1 wand, 1 pentacle, and the court cards were King of Wands, King of Cups, so 2 kings, and then Knight of Cups and Knight of Pentacles, 2 knights. And 2 knights is, for me, Sunday is coming up as the 21, the rising, and today is 35, Saturday is 36, Sunday becomes 37, which is the King of Cups. So that's when he rises, he comes into unconditional love. Okay, and this is just the guidance I'm getting. It's not according to exact timelines of what the holiday is or this year's holiday, that kind of thing. It's the messages I'm getting for today, okay? So 2 nights is coming up, so that's significant. So we go through Friday night, Saturday night, we're in Sunday, okay, which is that important day. So let's see, the numbers and the coding for the masculine today were all around, there weren't a lot of numbers coming up today. It was just about 1, 9, and 10. Okay, so 1 is the beginning of the cycle, 9 is the end of the cycle, and they're considered the strongest numbers in numerology because it's the beginning and the end. And then 10 is the transition, that high vibration, the quanta, you know, it's the connection to the next. All right, it's the next cycle. So it's, and then it reduces to a 1 again because it's that new beginning. So it's just the new beginning of the next cycle. So it's all about beginning, the transition from the ending into the new beginning. And then as that third card that I usually pull was the 6. Okay, so the number 6 also came up just like a sidebar, that it's all about love. Okay, the transition, the ending, compassion into the new beginning, and the love of the children and the new. It's really all about love, no matter what the number. The cards that came up from the numerology deck on the code line were all about patience and rebirth. And there was some cool messages that came up here around patience. So again, this rebirth is accentuating the 1 and the 9 that came up in the numbers that was separate from this message. And the coding, the numbers 6, 10, also 16 comes up, which is the tower energy, the 1, the 9, like I said, and then 23, 11. So 23 is the King of Wands, and 11 is Justice. And the King of Wands came up, in this deck, he's like a shaman energy, and that was the challenge card today, the challenge position. So the King of Wands was there, and then 11 of Justice, which Justice also came up again in the read today, not as one of the major cards, but it was definitely there in the clarifiers for sure. So the message here about patience and rebirth was about to say yes, to see the high vibration, about the good King of Wands, the good man, the passionate man, okay? Or good at mastering his passions. There's some more energy that comes up around that as well. So it's all about patience, right? When you're passionate. So how do we start out this journey? The impatience of feeling love for someone, for feeling that passionate energy between you, and the need to rush in, okay? So Fool's Rush In is coming up here. You need to learn patience to allow the rebirth, to allow the integration of true love as opposed to the instant connection, to really meld the energies together before spiritually connecting, which the kids of today, the new DNA, the new kids, are so much better at that than we ever were at my age. They all know how to be friends first. For them, they hang out with lots of different people and lots of different guys as friends, whether it's online or then getting to know them, but they don't consider that necessarily a date. So they're already kind of better at that. And you'll notice that most of the relationships these days are between people who look like each other. And that's because the kids now know to resonate with themselves as opposed to someone outside of themselves. So a perfect example for you to see what's happening as far as the changing in our DNA as the new kids come in. New kids on the block. And then the song came in, If You Could Only See How Blue Her Eyes Can Be when she says she loves me, from Tonic. So that was coming in from the masculine as him expressing to the karmic, or if he's still with someone, or to family, to express how he feels about his love. At 10:17 to 10:19, and that was written, it came up, I don't usually notice this in the lyrics online, but between 10:17 and 10:19, I noticed that that song was written by Emerson Hart about an older woman that he was in love with. If you see the high vibe destiny in referencing the knight, so the knight in shining armor, but also the knight at night, and then what was coming up as opposed to the king of flames was actually, as opposed to master, the aster flower was coming up here of flames. And the reason for that was because aster is also known as patience, but there was a lot of other definitions coming up here. There's patience in rebirth. Aster also means one that is inferior or not genuine. And what is the cause of that? Well, the aster has a lot of petals, and so they tend to be more sensitive, more fragile than the usual flower. Not as stable. So any kind of trauma they experience becomes more of a cover for them, so they build up more of a mask as they grow up to cover up their wounds and their insecurities. As a kid, just being hurt really bad and then wanting to hide from the world. So this is very much representative of the aster flower. It also, the suffix denotes partial resemblance. So it resembles them, but it's kind of like the shell of who they originally were. So it's just really about going back to who you really are. It also is described as a system of microtubules arranged radically around a centriole at either end of the melodic or meiotic spindle, or metotic. So I'm not very familiar with that stuff, but the idea was just like the electrons running around the neutron and the protons, okay? That they're kind of wild and running free. They're radical. So that creates instability. So it's like representing the masculine's instability within himself. Always, with this energy running around so that there's no focus on the heart space where there was pain. So in the aster family, there's 180 species, okay? So this brings up again the moon with source behind it. So there's 180 species, all but one are restricted to Eurasia, which is the alpine aster, which grows naturally in the United States. Also the Greek word for, and that was mostly from Merriam-Webster dictionary, the Greek word for star is the aster, and it's also described as which was so funny, I don't know how they pronounce it, Michaelmas or Michaelmas, okay? But it literally, if you separate the word, spells Michael, Mass, daisies. So they're considered these kind of daisies, the aster. And so if the name is star, and the aster is truly a star, like the divine masculine, but they are referenced to as Michaelmas, this is Michael, Archangel Michael, saying, does that sound right? Isn't it supposed to be Christmas? Wouldn't his true self be Christmas as opposed to Michaelmas? All right, so showing himself as something less than he is, daisies, kind of like hiding under the radar so that nobody sees who he really is because he's afraid. But the definition of the aster comes up as love, wisdom, faith, and patience, which are all your guidance. That's the surrender. I was also getting, please don't pick the daisies. Don't pick on me, right? Someone was very sensitive or picked on as a child. Also, the Jeju aster came up. It's Jeju, and it definitely referenced back to that symbolism I was getting the other day of the J below the line and then the J that comes up onto the line, which was more like an L with an apostrophe between, which was showing me like a picture of the notes with something stuck between them. Well, the Jeju was definitely showing me that same symbolism again. And the other name for the Jeju Aster is Shejuensis. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. But if you break it down, it's She, U, En, which for me is code Jesus, S, which is code Sophia, and then is. She of you, Jesus, Sophia, so the Christos Sophia energy is. It just is. Home of all of us. So that was pretty cool. That's the Jeju Aster. And it's very beautiful and hardy. It's not one of the more fragile asters that fall apart. I was also guided to write down the white health aster and the blue word aster. And that comes up as cord if O lie to us, right? It's a cord as if source has lied to us when we are blue. I was also getting the Sea Aster since Sea of Love came up. It's like Aster. That one, the name for that one is Try or Trip. It could be Try, Po, Lie, or Trip, and then O, which is source contained in the human body, and then lie, and then like got caught in a lie, that kind of thing. But that's coming up under the Sea Aster. And also, like I said, the Alpine Aster is the one that grows naturally in the United States, which is that very purple or blue aster, which is beautiful with the yellow center. Also, Jeju comes up as a volcanic island off the coast of South Korea, so that might be coming up as possibly erupting. It also comes up as new 7 wonders of nature. Just like that blue aster, beautiful. It's like a peacock blue. And they're also perennials, so they come back every year, which is really nice. And I was also getting, they're also referenced to as prairie flowers. And I don't usually watch any series on Netflix, but I was watching a little bit of the OA yesterday, and her name that her adoptive parents named her was Prairie. So that's coming up as well, the false name. That wasn't her real name. The blue aster is beautiful. It's like a peacock. It's really beautiful. It's also considered September's flower, and some other things. It can be frosty, so that could be the coldness of the masculine because of the hurt, the fragileness, but also comes up as charming, and September's flower, which was a nice message for me because my birthday's in September. So as we turn the page, it was It was 10:55, and 55 is the Ace of Swords. Okay, so the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth was definitely coming up in the read today. There was some big truth here. It came up more than once in the underlying energy. Well, it was in the crowning spot and also in the underlying energy. It might have come up again as well. I was getting in the coding here around patience and rebirth. Again, the patience of the aster versus impatience, the flowers. So the impatience are annuals, right? Because you're impatient to get them in there and bloomed and everything, as opposed to being patient for the perennials to allow the growth year to year. So it's definitely bringing out patience versus impatience. Also, the masculine needs to see that he gets his patience from the divine feminine, and to learn that transmutation patience that the feminine has. I was getting that when the love is not love with divided X, and X can be referencing the X, the karmic. It also can reference just women in general. Love is not love with divided X. High vibration is not high vibration with divided Jesus, which is representative of the masculine template. Master is not master with divided Mary Magdalene, okay, which represents the feminine here. So here we have the masculine, the feminine, and the karmic, or the third energy. Love is aster, not impatience, the flower. So it's referencing again. But aster is a star who feels unworthy, thus not genuine, i.e. the mask. Michaelmas, daisies, versus Christmas. Please don't pick the daisies. Please don't pick on the masculine. They've had a lot to work on they've been hurt very badly. So there's also the near-death experience coming up with the OA, and the prairie, and the fragile flower. Also the 7 or greater petals. Okay, that's very rare. A very rare flower. The most complicated are also the most fragile. So all these messages coming up. As we get into the read at 11:11, love sees, high vibration, referencing to good at mastering fire or transmutation. Okay? So learning patience by learning the process of transmutation, which is the process you've been through on this journey. So like I said, these are the underlying energies that came up. It was the 10 of Orbs, which is like the 10 of Swords, then the Page of Pentacles, and the 6 of Cups behind that. So it's all about the children and learning their abilities, whether it's your children or your inner child, learning your psychic abilities, your upgraded crystal bodies, your upgraded DNA. Pain, betrayal, and feeling like death, near-death experience, and passionately riding in and finding no satisfaction and or happiness. This is for the masculine. To allow the student to be seen that we are all learning, always, to be the 6 of Cups. So for those who are proud and they're afraid to be wrong, it's saying go back to when you're little, because little kids are never afraid to be wrong. They always ask questions. 2 children hugging each other tightly. To end pain, must allow your inner child to come out and play. Do not be afraid of being wrong, ignorant, or stupid. To allow yourself to be vulnerable and say, yes, I am ignorant about that. Awaken to accepting help when offered from masculine lover, next to the no longer burning bush, because now it's just dead, or tree that's dead. All the leaves have burned. All the leaves are brown. Okay, so I'm getting the fall. It's interesting because we're in the spring now, but I'm getting the fall because we just had September come up, and now we're having the tree in this card is of leaves burnt for the masculine. The feminine's next, just like the Garden of Eden, where the feminine has the orange grove, and the masculine's with the burned out tree. So he's standing next to that no longer burning bush or tree, having walked away from himself, too proud to see, now with nothing left to show for it, embarrassed to come forward with no gift to bring. So here we are with the little drummer boy, no gift to bring, and it makes me, I just wanted to cry. Pa-ra-pa-pa-pum. Okay, so everyone was bringing the baby gifts, and then the little drummer boy feels like he's got nothing, but he does. He plays the drum. The King of Swords breaks through his crown, holds himself at knife point, daring himself to be truth, his truth, Excalibur, the size of the bullet hole the X's left in him. If he'd get out of his head and she'd get out of the sky, they'd see each other right in front of themselves. Okay? 10 channels of high vibrational stereo and freedom to leap into faith. Pulling the crown off of his head this day, has risen above the fallen leaves. Him, twin leaf, on his way to the divine feminine, with bag and flowers in hand, grounded by electronics and snake or lizard, 10 women who are now exes. Okay, so they don't have to be relationship exes, but it was just coming up as a parallel. And then we turn the page. It's 11:30, and I was just getting the reference to turning the page as the page is the child. Okay, so as the child grows, as the world turns, as the page turns, there's always new. So there's now 10 channels for the masculine with a loyal friend, so expanding their psychic abilities, knowing people who are channels. A loyal friend who is pure and keeps loving him even when he ignores them. The King of Swords has risen, did not take a fall that day. His loyal friend, Mary Magdalene, never wavered in her love for him. 8 of Wands exposed in heated exchange, which was 34 yesterday, expressing feelings of standing up for himself and fending off others could not see his twin beyond the chaos in his life. So emotionally detached to try to save his own life, but initially then detached from self. To be connected to self is to be connected to twin. He got caught in the weeds, in the buttercup yellow house of Mary Magdalene. Very soon for the masculine, because beneath that is true love, that this is a romance of a lifetime, and Spirit's connecting very deeply here. Tired of avoiding tired of avoiding the truth and dancing with the false light, bringing out his anger, seeing his false light being advertised by the crowds when hung up to dry, with even children watching, as but not his true love. His true love always working together as one. On the cross, this becomes so clear, the love that he had denied. The lobster finds the pearl amidst the ego crowd, in the quiet of his I don't know what I wrote there. It must be breath. In the quiet of his breath doth Mary Magdalene lie. So the lobster finds the pearl amidst the ego crowd. In the quiet of his breath doth Mary Magdalene lie, in wait for him, in physical separation. Took patience for the oyster or clam to heal around the bacteria that got in, to become the pearl that she now is, to allow herself to open then and allow him in, to see the beauty she had become, so much more than she ever knew, because of his love drawing near. At the full moon, the false light became so clear, held right up to the moon, and like the Grinch, the masculine's heart grew 3 times the size that day. The heart he had stepped on would become the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. Forgiveness. Mark Twain. Her heart, his heart, one and the same, as the armor comes off, revealing his true name, as all the onlookers in awe watch him rising right before their eyes, felt within first, as within, so then without. Spirituality comes up as the underlying energy, number 77, the sovereign, love. Okay, so love was underneath as really important, and then spirituality came up on top as that 77 sovereign. Once you love yourself, then you become spiritually sovereign. Unsatisfied and having not received his wish to awaken them, the crowds, rushing in and having lost steam on the way, holding back his passion from Mary Magdalene, denying himself. Knight of Cups raises the Holy Grail on the cross, and as I went to write the cross, grace was written. So the Knight of Cups raises the Holy Grail on the grace she has given him. He has given him love, and I, not sustenance and return, or Holy Communion. And that was at 1157. So that's the 3 of Swords, the heartbreak. The dragonfly in union, as we turn the page, 1158, the 4 of Swords, the meditation. The dragonfly in union, 2 hearts beat as one. Our lives have just begun. That was from First Love. And then as I wrote that down, it was my sister texting me for Sunday dinner. And I replied, sure. And when I put in TY for thank you, which came out 2 capital T's, TT, like temper tantrum, you actually see that TT is pi. Okay? So at 12:01, I corrected my response to her, but pi is no accident. The integration and the balance within, 2 toggling to etheric realms for Easter dinner, breaking bread with Jesus. Offer of love creates heavens above. And that's another line from Christos Sophia. Time of overindulging in too much food and drink and third-party interferences from family. but also two bunnies playing in the garden, laughing at their family's personalities, allowing them to play without their wounds, enjoying the humor in it. Third parties present in every family to bring up and release the pain. Emotionally detached and enjoy if needed, staying in your truth of love, as very soon you will be leaving. And separate again. Sovereign in your knowing that all is love. It was just 30, 22. And 30 is the Four of Wands, the union, and the 22 is the Fool, taking that leap of faith with an open heart perpetually. Shine by example. Be the Fool. Words not always needed. People leaving the table changes the tone to then come back together, reconnected to heart and higher self. So when someone says something that gets everyone pissed off at the table, by a few leaving the situation, the other person who may have caused the fighting then has a moment to withdraw and focus and center themselves again, come back into their higher self. So recently, for the masculine is the King of Cups. But this card was buried. King of Cups was refusing to see, walking away, going within to see the errors of his ways. King of Cups was refusing to see the Emperor, walking away, going within to see the error of his ways. After the gate was open and a near-death experience, in a healing exchange, Queen of Wands reversed, deceiving Emperor reversed, and or vice versa, betrayed. There's betrayal and third parties involved here. Two men and the Queen of Wands reversed, so the King of Cups reversed and the Emperor reversed can be two separate people, so it could be a third party situation with the Queen of Wands reversed, they're all reversed, or the King of Cups reversed and the Emperor reversed are one and the same person. One man out of control emotionally, detached from the Queen of Wands reversed, or that the King of Cups has passed recently and there's no love lost now between the Emperor and the Queen of Wands reversed, who are both reversed. There's overindulgences in pain, fighting, alcohol, depression, and just overindulgences in general. Some with children trying to get away from them because they don't want to be a part of all this. Or two brothers and a sister at war with father, or they're at war with each other about father, or father with new wife they don't like, interfering in their relationship with their father, or possibly their inheritance. So Aries, Scorpio, Gemini, Pisces, Virgo, and Aquarius specifically came up here. Energies here as the foundation of reflection, or the Hermit, which can be the Virgo energy as well. Coming clean about offer of a new life and or money offer to true love and separation. The Divine Masculine, hearing his calling to examine and become the student of energy. The gold coin. The King of Swords, coming into his truth, or was reversed. He was reversed too, like the others, but then forced into his truth, so to make him upright. Or this King of Swords can also represent a lawyer, because I'm definitely getting someone being held to the truth, like under gunpoint, but under sword point, being held to the truth, like under oath. So this King of Swords can be the King of Swords, but also can be a lawyer or judge. King of Swords in his truth with King of Cups, he was coming up reversed. Queen of Wands and Emperor all reversed. Or in court under oath, the King of Swords spills or forces Gemini or King of Cups reversed to hear his truth about twin, whether they liked it or not. And Cancer comes up here as well. Alright, so we had Aries, Scorpio, Gemini, Pisces, Virgo, Aquarius, and Cancer, and it's not just sun signs, so it can represent many different energies. So as we turn the page, it's 12:29, and 29 is the Three of Wands, and staying present to see the beauty in your current situation, not looking forward or back, not waiting for your ship to come in, but enjoying the present moment while things change and the seasons change. So someone may have been lying for the children, right? Everyone says they stay together for the children, yet causing them pain by doing that because they're living a lie. And the Sun, oh, that's not yet. Then the Hermit was over isolating in their truth, holding the King of Swords hostage of the truth until he says when. So it's like the Divine Feminine holding the Masculine hostage through their love, without either of their ability to control, really, because they're connected. But it was like the hermit, divine feminine, the hermit can represent the masculine as well, over isolating the truth, but they're one and the same, holding the King of Swords hostage of truth until he says when. So it's like when your siblings, hold you down until you say when. I can't take it anymore, let go. Okay, so that was at 12:31, and 31 is that Five of Wands energy, that conflict, expansion energy, and then the horn was tooting a few times of the train going by. So until he says when and confesses the truth. So all this energy here was definitely about confessions coming out or being forced into the truth. Centrally is ascension, it's the world. And everyone out in the world closing their eyes, because this card was pretty covered too. Her eyes were covered, but her face was not. Everyone in the world closing their eyes, covering up their hearts with confusion and dissension among the ranks. The Queen of Cups upright, with family offering love to each other, dumping attachments to things that no longer serve, leaving confusion behind to focus on love that is available to them. So the masculine may be seeing other families around where this Queen of Cups has such a good relationship with their family. And how are they so not affected? Like they never fight. And it's maybe a very curious thing to him. Finding closure, completion, end of a cycle, opening of the eyes to see all. No fear, just presence and patience, not impatience, the flower. The challenge being for the masculine, the King of Wands shaman, whether this is another energy or who he needs to be. Inspired to let go and fix and fall on his face at work. Allow the fall from grace to rise again. Okay, so this is coming in with the crucifixion, allowing him to rise again. Allow the fall. Okay, so once you're the wounded warrior, you've little energy left. He's on the cross, crucified, and the full moon happened at 4 to 7 in the United States this morning, so that's done. Okay, past the full moon, that's the spiral downward. So allowing gracefully the fall, which is why the fall keeps coming up. Having been given his energy to stress, pain, and suffering, and ignoring the love being given to him, at or through work and co-creation taking place, suddenly an event or an epiphany about the masculine wanting to talk to the Queen of Swords again, but the King of Cups may be against it. Inspired to be love and confess, surprise with expressing passionate feelings, exposing all at home or about union to Empress in knowing, sovereign wounded warrior. Okay, so it could be the masculine coming out to family or literally coming out to his twin. Okay, now crowning is the truth. Whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. Over the loss of home and or family, in a move with Queen of Pentacles aligning and cracking codes. So he may literally be moving in with his feminine or moving in with the feminine. The King of Swords is upright now, broken-hearted, giving up the war with third-party and or overindulgences, gossipers, divorcing a Cancer or stuck without transportation, or move or travel was canceled, or chaos and all hell breaks loose in the wake of the truth, justice, divorce, and breaking commitment or Libra energies with Cancer reversed. There's also Pisces energies too coming up here. Hanging out, drinking, or due to control or being controlled, or divine masculine hung out to dry literally due to alcohol or just betrayed by those he loved or trusted. Controlling and strong-arming him into burdens and duties, now choosing to take a leap of faith and walk away into union, moving home and or rehab, or just discussing the harsh truth, with burning the past up for option for new passionate growth and ice cream. It always makes things better. Okay? So it's definitely coming up paralleling what the masculine is going through to Jesus on the cross, where everyone betrayed him except for his one true love, himself, his connection to Mary Magdalene, and confessing his sins, right? So soon, the Knight of Cups, swimming in an infinity pool, or overflowing in emotion in his coffee cup. Needing the courage to release passions and secrets to family or to divine feminine that his family has now ended. And at 12:40, the sun brightened outside, and 12 is of wisdom, and 40 is the card that comes up for Jesus all the time. That's the Page of Cups, which is very Pisces energy related. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was Pisces rising. Okay, so I've been working on peace through the fighting, conflict expansion. The King of Pentacles, stressed, always giving in, or always giving in to the King of Pentacles, ignoring the Queen of Cups, always co-creating with him, but him not having faith in her, in himself. He is the Chariot. That's the way he's seeing himself, bold and moving in, after decision and getting clear about finding peace in his purging cycles, away from the wounded warrior victim mentality and giving up the war within himself, i.e. lack, or things that his mother always said, her voice in his ear. Around him, or how he is seen, is the Knight of Pentacles proposal, impatient, holding his tongue in order to offer love. Clear blocks for the masculine, of strength, of tiger, with his eye on the prize, or on the kill, schooling the bird in her best interest when you're insecure yourself, wanting to start over in love and not just settle. Wanting joy and love offered, even if there's no affection or lover involved in his life. So as we get to the end of the read, we have the final two cards, okay, the card after the read, which is the Nine of Chalices and the Alchemy. Okay, so that's the Temperance card normally. So getting your wish of balance and patience in this rebirth, and patience were the cards here from the numerology deck, for one at a distance, or the Queen of Wands and King of Wands, now making peace with wounded warrior Mary Magdalene. Wish come true with 6 rays of light shining through, new passion for knowing, being sovereign, wounded warrior Mary Magdalene, King of Wands, now with an X. So him being at peace with, like, divorce, okay, because maybe that wasn't an option before. Transformation comes up here, the end of the journey, as the King of Pentacles takes a prisoner to alchemize his way with her. Both the Nine of Cups and Nine of Pentacles in another world, disconnected from the end of fighting, needing closure, so disconnecting from the need for closure, and truth is presented with positive response and or message, losing power, money, or independence, or all three, drained at work, yet still co-creating. The end of the pain as the truth comes out, Hermit takes a bold move to propose unconditional love to the world as Shaman Knight of Cups, extremely hungry for the truth of 6 rays, blue rays, getting satisfaction, happiness, wish come true, with patience and balance, the alchemical process. Twins, students of pain and truth and unconditional love and third energy, hermiting from the world with King of Wands and truth out in bold move to offer love, propose some tiger's eye, if you know what I mean, starved with desire to get wish and alchemize prisoner, again, if you know what I mean. Our prison is a prison of love. Doors are always open. Just don't disconnect from self. And my picture is not aligned with me speaking, okay? So that's kind of weird. That doesn't usually happen. I'm still not aligned. I feel like I'm in a Kong movie. All right, so I'm going to leave it here at 44, and I'll do the oracles as well. Here's the read. That's the basic read, and then here we have the full read. Rise and be loved, guys. It was just 4444. Be good. Drink your water.